Where are you from?
I am from Italy, in northern Italy, so close with, you know where Venice is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's about an hour and 15 minutes towards the mountain,
Oh, okay.
not towards the water.
All right.
In Venice, yes.
Okay, so how do you feel that borders influence your identity as an immigrant?
So what do you mean for that?
Like from the United States to Italy and like the difficulties of like traveling back and forth.
Are you talking about Trump stuff? The Trump administration in general, or just in general?
Just in general.
So the traveling between United States and Italy, it's okay when I have a green card.
Right.
I am not a citizen. So as long as your green card is kept, current, and it's okay. When I had children, it was very interesting because we were coming in from Italy, and my husband will have to go through the line of citizenship, and I will have to go separate. That was really hard for me to kind of feel separate from them, because I had to get fingerprinted every time I moved in. They had to take a picture of me, and so it was really hard. The last few years, actually, they have not done that. My last renewal, my last green card, as more of a fancy, high-tech. Yes. So when they scan my green card, they pull up my picture. They already have my fingerprint on file, and so I still have to fingerprint it, but it's easier and we're together.
Okay.
Yeah.
What reason supported your decision to come to the United States?
The reason why I came to the United States was for education.
Okay.
I graduated from Italy with a bachelor degree in elementary school teaching, or early intervention.
That's my
stuff.
major.
Really? Oh, great.
Yes.
And my first job out of college was to be a co-teacher at an elementary school. And basically, I was assigned to teach this little boy, first grader, deaf boy. And it was a mainstream school, which is mean oral program. This little boy did not know sign language, and I had to basically be his teacher. And we call it nearly assistant teacher, like support teacher.
Right.
But what I realized when I started working with him, he had a teacher in the morning, and the teacher in the morning was using a lot of candy to reward him for behavior. And you can imagine a 6 years old that do not hear anything in the classroom, and you're supposed to be teaching him. He had a lot of behavior issue, and not because he was stupid, but it's, I think, out of frustration. And I understood that, so I took a completely different approach with him. I did a lot of physical stuff, body language stuff. He's tested me. He will hide and never come out, and I will be there, until it comes out, because he's deaf, and he will hide into like a box. And so because you become deaf and blind, I'm thinking, okay, you'll come out when you're bored, and he'll come out and actually sit down and just do the activity that I was presenting to him. But we got to the point where I actually developed a sign language with him, and I was not supposed to, but I felt that that was the most appropriate thing.
Right.
At that level, they're learning words, and so I would do the alphabet from Italy that all the hearing kids in Italy would use. Was not essentially the alphabet the deaf kids use.
Right.
And so I taught him that. What I did is I draw the picture of a boy that was doing the letter. This is for A, this is for B, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever. So he would look at the picture, look at the letter, and then he would write. So we got to the point where he actually memorized the entire alphabet. And then I would do all this letter, and he would write. And so that was he was so happy. He never had any behavior. And then I talked to the parents, and I said, you need to send him to a deaf school. But they were young parents, and so he was about 6, but I was 9. I traveled to America to study, and they contacted me because they wanted to know which deaf school in Italy was a good one for him. So I was happy that they came along with
that's really cool.
Yes.
So what year did you come to the United States?
So I came to the United States for study. I came a couple of times, but definitely when I decided to come on and enroll to the interpreter training program was in 1990s.
Okay, and why did you decide to stay there? Was just a better opportunity here?
Well, at this school that I wanted to apply for in Italy was a private college, and they were teaching you sign language and of course to become an interpreter. But it was in Venice, and they had a waiting list, and I could not wait. I just wanted to do this, and actually I started and I went on to this deaf school that was run by nuns, and I got their videotapes and I got some books, and at home I was watching and doing my sign language. So it was really hard, but then I decided, talking to my brother who lived in Atlanta, I said, I gotta find something. Yeah. And my brother at that time, 1990s, it was called Georgia Perimeter College, was called the Cap College. So it was the only college in town that would offer an American Sign Language program. And I came in, and I was the first international student ever applied to the program.
Wow.
It was not an easy task. And so I met with the principal, director, whatever, call coordinator at that time. She was not a very welcoming person. And I said to her, you are not going to tell me how I'm going to spend my money.
Right.
And she couldn't say no, because I could apply, I could basically apply to a program that I want to. I had to pass all the tests necessary.
Yeah.
And then if I would pass the test, right, that was fine.
Yeah.
So I passed through the test, and she failed me in one of my tests.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I went straight to Georgia Counseling for the Hearing Impaired, which I found an advocate over there. And this lady was great. She had a master's degree from Gallaudet University, and spoke with this lady and said, stop it. Like Adesi, do this. And I cannot read her writing. She's writing cursive, and I can't read cursive. So I had to retake the entire test again that she was giving out. And I had to basically look at this tape with this deaf person signing and write everything in print for her to be able to read my handwriting. I knew exactly what the guys were saying. It wasn't about, my knowledge. Right. It was just her trying to be difficult. Yeah. And so in the end of the classroom, I gave her my task, and I said, can you please read? And she read it, and she found something. What is that? I said, well, that's what it means. And so she couldn't fail me, because everything was correct. Yeah. And so I was through the program, and she took every English paper research that I wrote for that program, and she held it back, and she would eat her lunch and spill her lunch on my paper. Oh my gosh. So when my paper would come back to me, I had food, oil, and other food things, and my professor could not do anything. She was Adesi, your paper is being held by Christine. Okay, so then the paper will come back, and the grades, of course, was always like an A or a B, so she couldn't really, but she would check in on my English, because she could not believe that I could do this. So it wasn't an easy 2 years, but all I did was basically, I was a single girl, study and volunteering my time in the deaf community, and that's how I learned the language.
That's really
cool. It was really, it's really...
So when you came to the United States, did you bring some of your culture with you and keep it, or did you form kind of like a mix between the United
definitely
States?
I had to keep my culture. My home, my apartment was my little Italy. I was a lot of homesick, and I used to go to farmers market, and it's funny, I used to buy cooking books from Italy just because sorry, I miss home. That was hard, but so that was my thing. I kept, and even when my children were here, I wanted to have Italy at home, and I wanted to have because I didn't want to forget where I was coming from. And it's funny because I kept talking to them in Italian when we were home, and then when we go outside, I would talk to Italian, but then some of the kids would not understand, so I felt that was inappropriate in some of the parents. So we felt that when we were with other children, with the parents, we would speak English, but when we were at home, we had our own Italy. Right. And that was good. It was okay. I wish I could have spoken more with them, but I was a lot of concern for myself about integrating this culture. Right. there was a lot of discrimination that I experienced just because I had an accent.
Right.
I couldn't speak perfect English, and just my program was tough. But it's just going out and buy a sandwich at Subway, it was a nightmare. I used to go home and cry because I couldn't, because they were talking too fast. They were no patient. They couldn't explain it to me. They couldn't repeat it to me, and so I felt like I'm gonna just go home and cook. I just go home and I do what I need to do, and so I think it was good. I had some pretty good friends that liked me for where I was, and so I cooked for them. We had party all the time cooking, and so that was fun. But it's like it was imperative for me to have my culture.
Yeah. So why did you choose to just have a green card instead of becoming a legal citizen?
Because for America, it might have changed now, but for America, when I started here, America does not allow dual citizenship. In case of war, they're going to ask you, who are you going to support? Are you supporting Italy? Are you supporting America? Of course I'm supporting Italy. I was born there. I was right there. So I didn't want to have that issue. Economically, also renewing for a green card, it's only $480. Become a citizen. Last time I checked a few years ago, it's $1,500 at least. So, and you have to take a test. And so I felt that it wasn't worth it, my money.
Makes sense. Is America and life here what you kind of expected, or were you expecting more, or?
So basically finding my husband, that was the decision why I wanted to stay. And my husband is deaf and he's Black American, and going back home to a small city was probably not the best choice for him, because I think America is a little bit more high technology and for the deaf, for communication and devices and stuff like that. Italy, on the other hand, has some really great deals about buying your car or buying a house if you're deaf, and they give you a lot of discount. So it's a little different approach to a disability that I have in my country. So of course, he had a job here, and I did not want to take him away. And I thought it was not fair because I didn't want to make him unhappy. Even my brother and my sister said, mostly my brother, the closest to me, said, I don't know, Adesi, that would be a smart thing for you to do. So I decided that I was going to live my life here with my husband, of course, and my children, and always have the opportunity to go back home when I wanted to. I bought this house. We bought this house a couple of years ago. I told Andrew that this is our house. That's his house. Whether I'm going to be dying in this house or dying in Italy, I don't know. But it's important that Andrew and his brother, they do have dual citizenship. They Americans don't know this, but Andrew has an American passport and an Italian passport. That means that anytime he wants in his life, he wants to move to Italy, he's able to. And he will be just as Italian as I am because he has an Italian passport. So life here is been working okay because of our family is kind of an unusual family, and I always tell Andrew that I survived here because of the many skills that I have. Teaching children, learning ASL, that was a great extra skills that it added to my curriculum. I love music, so I learned this program and I'm teaching music in ASL to children. I taught adults classes, which I still do in the community. That's my thing because I feel like it's important to break barrier. There's just so much ignorance in the community about deaf culture, what that means, and my husband getting insulted right left all the time by people sometimes. this kind of like, I wanted to give a class to anybody who wants to take a class. Who would be you, would be somebody that is 75 years old, somebody from high school, I don't care who comes, a lawyer, a nurse, and then just being together and talk about deaf culture and ASL and why is it so important for us to know this. And doesn't matter you're hearing or not, ASL is going to be a great tool for you to have regardless.
Right.
And so I think I made it okay. I'm just teaching at part-time at Spelman College, a all women, Black women college. And believe it or not, I did not apply for the job. But through my previous years, that's been 9 years I'm teaching there, but I taught at a private school before where they actually love me and they actually apply before marriage for my working visa, because I came in this country just with a student visa. And then when they apply for that job, they actually sponsor me and say, we'll want to have Adesi in the school because she has the skill that I cannot find in another American. And then I married. That's how I kind of got myself, be able to stay here with a green card. But basically, I think we're doing okay with what I do. I do a lot of jobs, and my children always say, "My mom has 7 jobs." I feel like I do. I run right and left all the time. But the good thing is that I was able to have a flexible schedule, so I could pick up my kids from school, I could bring them home, cook dinner and lunch all the time, fresh every day, and then go to work.
When you go back to Italy for visits, do you notice like major changes within your town, and does it make you feel kind of like an outsider or like a tourist?
Yes, I do. I feel it every time I go. And I have to keep up with the language. I have to keep up with what's going on in the political system, what's going on here. So my mom is trying to keep me up, whatever. My brother, I do. It's funny. After a week I'm there, my accent, my American accent, kind of falls away. I go into my Italian, my slang, whatever. I'm fine. Then I came over here, and then I have this strong Italian accent. Somebody go, "Oh, you're from Italy." Yeah, I am. So I feel a little disconnected. I never had a chance. I met but a few Italian parents while I was raising the kids here in Atlanta. But it's hard to keep a connection. It's hard to do play day because you have to work. Kids gotta go to school. It's hard to maintain those connections where the language also is alive, and we have 3 languages, right? English, ASL, Italian. So it's a lot. Yeah, I do. I think as an adult right now, it's like I'm going back this year. After a couple years, 3 years, I haven't gone back. My mom is coming this May 13th, and then I promised her, she's 85, that I'm gonna go home with her. So she agreed to come. So it's gonna just me and her. My dad passed away in 2014, and it's gonna be me and her for about a couple weeks, and so it's gonna be fun. She already made an appointment about her friends and where I have to go. My daughter's coming. This is what we're gonna be doing. So it's gonna be all about Italy. It's gonna be all about a lot of food, a lot of coffee. And sometimes what I do that I enjoy myself doing, that I feel at home, is going to this restaurant in Decatur called Sapori di Napoli. And there are 2 brothers who are from Naples. And I just go home and they are basically, and speak Italian with them, and when my mom comes, we go. So we feel like a little Italy's over there.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the questions I have.
Oh, right, great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.